Hey guys, we're going to be talking about van maintenance today, and I am going to show you some of the things that I had to do last week to, well, hopefully make my van run a little bit better. So far so good. It's still not totally perfect, but from what I've researched, it's going to take it a little while to readjust itself after what I did to it. So we'll see. In the meantime, I've been doing something I probably should have been doing all along, which is I've been putting some fuel system cleaner in it too, and running that in the gas. I guess apparently with these older vans, if they're like 2000 on back, you probably need to do it every time you fill up with at least some type of fuel additive / cleaner kind of thing. I thought it was going to be just like my other vehicles that I had, especially Toyotas, where you just, if you buy good gas like Chevron or Shell or something like that, and then put the premium stuff in at least once a month, then that should be good to go. And then maybe every time you do an oil change, put some sea foam or something in there to clean it out. And that's what I was doing with this, but apparently it wasn't enough. Because as you will see, it gets pretty gunked up in them throttle bodies there. And in case you guys don't know what a throttle body is, for those of us who are not really mechanically inclined like myself, a throttle body is something that's sort of like fuel injection and a carburetor put together. I call them kind of an in-between technology. They have some of both components on them, but they're more like a rudimentary fuel injection system. But this throttle body is different than any of the other ones I've ever seen. It actually has two small ports on it on the top instead of one larger one. So for a minute there, I was a little bit confused. I thought it was maybe a double barrel carburetor instead. But then I thought, well, it doesn't look totally like a carburetor. But what made things even more confusing is that it said Holley V8 on top of it, which, is a famous carburetor for especially these old Dodges. So I totally thought that's what it was for a minute, but I made sure and I looked up in my book to make sure I wasn't like looking at something wrong. And yes, it is a type of throttle body that was put on this vehicle. So yeah, just do your research when you got to do this kind of stuff, but you always have to have a clean air filter. You always have to have a clean fuel system. Otherwise your van's gonna, choke and die for no reason at all. And the thing was good. It wasn't throwing any bad codes or any of that kind of stuff. I couldn't really find anything else wrong with it. And it all pointed to the fact that it was just clogged and it wasn't getting enough air. So I just decided to take a chance and clean it. And I'm glad I did, because I'm sure what I did didn't hurt it any. If anything, it helped. And so I hope you guys, like this. I tried to edit it down so that it's not, like 20 hours worth of drying paint type of video. And I'm hoping I give you guys some good information in that. And yeah, just know, like, if you live on the West Coast especially California, you're probably going to want to put some type of cleaning agent in your gas tank every single time you fill up, because California likes to put a lot of different additives in gasoline, and apparently for these older cars and even some of the newer ones, it's not good for them. Some of the newer models I know of, like, Toyotas, for instance, have basically defense mechanisms against that. I don't even know exactly what it is, but it's almost like a self-cleaning thing. But after a while, they even still need to be cleaned, and you're gonna have to take it to your mechanic for that, because they're all totally fuel injected. A fuel injection cleaning is not a DIY unless you have the right tools. For me, I could use just a soft bristle toothbrush and some rags, and I was good to go. But for, if it was a real fuel injected system, there would be no way that I can get down in there and clean all that gunk out. So just a disclaimer, I'm no mechanic. Like I say to my friends, I know just enough to where I could just hang myself, but that's about it. I have, books and manuals on this thing. I try to do it for every vehicle I have, and a lot of folks say that they're not good or detailed enough, but they're good enough for me to get me on the right track, to do the right research, to find out really what is wrong with the thing before I have to figure out whether or not I need to take it into the mechanic. And that has served me well for years and has prevented me from having to spend more money than I needed to. So yeah, so check it out, guys. Hopefully you'll get something out of it. Alright, you guys, here's what I got. I have an old-fashioned air cleaner with the round kind of filter. And don't worry, I put the wing nut up here so it won't get lost. And it has what they call, let's see if I can get this thing back out. It has this kind of a filter on it. It says, see, this is a lifetime air filter. It's a K&N is what it's called. And you're not supposed to replace them, you're supposed to clean them. Alright, in case you guys need to know, here is the cleaner kit for this air cleaner. And it comes with the cleaner stuff right here. And I know some of you guys out there probably already know all this stuff because you work on your own cars, but maybe some of us don't. Get this out of here. And this is the oil that you put on it to protect it after it's clean. It helps to trap some of the dirt and also, you know, just, I guess, apparently keep the filter from going bad. I don't know. But it's colored with a red color so that you can see where you've sprayed already. And also, it probably, also after it fades, I'm sure, you'll be able to tell when it's really time to do it again. So, this stuff supposedly is pretty good. Here's a plastic tub I'm going to use to clean it in. It's a pump sprayer deal, so it's kind of awkward. So I'm doing the inside first. I don't know why, I am. And I think I'm just going to set it like this. And do this. This says to get a really good whole bunch on there, like spray it generously. And then you're supposed to leave it for 10 minutes and then wash it off with some really low pressure water, is what they say. So we'll see. It's really bright out here, so I hope you guys can see this good. But what I'm going to do is do what they said and just kind of rinse out the filter and see what happens. You can't turn the water on too much. It's supposed to not be that much. And I guess it's supposed to just rinse out. Sorry guys, this is probably making for terrible video, but I just wanted to take you guys through the process with me. Making a big nasty mess though, I'll tell you. I guess you're just supposed to rinse it until it gets clean. Yeah, I put a little fan on it and see if we can speed up the drying process a little bit. It feels like it's getting dry. It still feels damp though, and the directions say that you've got to make sure that it's relatively or at least completely dry so that the oil will be able to penetrate. So we'll see. Okay guys, so it looks like my fan and sunshine idea worked very well. So the thing is really dry, and so now we're going to put the protective oil on here and see what happens. Oh, that's cool. See how it kind of turns red? I don't know if you're supposed to put a whole bunch, but probably just a little, I would imagine. And I'm keeping it in the tub so that it doesn't make a mess everywhere. And that's cool because now you can see where it sprayed and where it didn't. See that? So that means that you can get it all completely covered. That's pretty cool. And I'm just going to keep going around until I get it all covered pretty good. This is probably not totally necessary, but it probably helps it to last longer so it doesn't, so you really don't have to replace it, is what I'm thinking. Whew, this stuff's nasty. I know you're supposed to be wearing gloves, but it is so hot out here, I just can't wear them anymore. And I have no choice, I have to do it today. My van is not going to be able to handle another week of not being able to breathe, and I don't blame it. Okay, I'm just going to let that sit for a few minutes because it's pretty slimy. I might even have to wipe off the outside of it. Okay, so I'm going to wipe down the outside a little bit, kind of sop it up a little, because I think I might have gotten a little bit too much on the outside part. But I guess that's how it works, you know, because you can't help it. It's got a lot of overspray. And so I'm just going to soak it up a little bit. Alright, so now in this clip, now just warning, this is going to get pretty kind of gross. I had no idea what kind of black nasty stuff could actually build up in the side of my car. I had no clue. I figured the top part of the car where like the air comes in wouldn't be this dirty. I had no idea. I kind of would expect it out the exhaust pipe or even in the catalytic converter or something like that, or even down inside the engine, you know, where the oil pan is. But holy moly, up here by the air cleaner, I did not understand that it could get that gunked up and gross. Check it out. See down inside there where the little holes are, you can see some kind of burnt, crusty looking stuff down in there. Well, that clogs its air too, and it makes it so it can't breathe. So either way, I still have to at least try to clean some of that out of there. So I guess this was a good thing. Every new car I get, I learn something new. So that's good. Okay, so I'm pushing on the gas pedal. So can you see the little flaps opening and closing? So you gotta spray down inside of there too a little bit. Just a little bit. Wipe it out. Looks like some, yeah, look at that. Some pretty nasty stuff in there. Okay, so I got a toothbrush. They say that that'll work. They're pretty soft bristle. And seeing as how there's not one big hole, but there's two little holes instead, it's probably better if you have a throttle body like this to use a toothbrush, because I think that's probably the only thing that's going to get down in there. And I'm having to sit in the driver's side and push my foot on the gas to open the butterflies on there. But if you have somebody that can help you, they could push on the gas while you do this stuff. Anything, I hope I'm not, you know, going too far in there. But there's a lot of videos that I watched on YouTube that say that you're supposed to take these things apart, you know, and clean them. But like I said, I'm just too afraid I might wreck it more. So I'm going to do it like some of them showed and just do it while it's on there. And lucky for me, this is easy to get to on my van. Some of you guys might have a harder time, like if you have a minivan or something. I don't know. It might be in a weird spot. But yeah, and that's the funny thing too. Everybody hates working on vans. But here I am working on my van sitting on my butt. I mean, seriously. You know? Granted, if I had the other front seat in here, it might have been harder to get the doghouse off and stuff. But, you know, unlike the newer vans, this van, I literally have almost complete access to the motor as soon as I take this doghouse off. So, I really don't understand why people nowadays don't, you know, want to work on them. I don't really know how clean I'm getting it in there, because I really can't see. I might have to put a flashlight down in there. But as you can see, there is a lot of gook coming out of there. And either way, whether this fixes my problem or not, this is a good thing to do. This is a good lesson for all of you guys out there, especially ladies. You know, I know just enough to hang myself when it comes to vehicles, but, you know, there's always something new that I learn all the time. And because I used to have carburetor, you know, engines with carburetors, I knew the importance of, you know, checking the air filter when it starts to stall. But I had no idea. This was a whole other can of worms when it comes to this whole, like, throttle body thing. And I guess apparently if you're full-blown fuel injected, that's something that you really can't do yourself. You might be able to put some additives in your fuel and help it out. But I guess apparently that's something that your mechanic has to do, from what I've researched. Because I was researching this for a few days before I did this. So what I knew whether or not I would have to actually take it to the shop. And I figured that I would try this first. And the van is not getting me stranded or anything. It's being reliable. It's just being a pain in the butt. It just wants to die after it's warmed up when I put it in reverse or something. And I just got the fuel pump replaced, so that's totally not what's going on. And it starts right back up. So I'm thinking it just can't breathe. So that's why I'm doing this. So anyway, I got to clean my brush because, dang, dude. That's not going to get much more off if I don't do something about it. You got to do that. Get down in there with a soft bristle brush. And make sure that you use something that is not going to have any lint or anything like that, like some good shop towels, and or eventually I ended up having to get a piece of flannel, you know, a piece of rag of some sort to get down in there and sop all that stuff up, because you don't want to just scrub it and leave it. There's going to be a lot of gunk in there still, so you're going to try to get it out as much as possible. And like I said before, there are two ways to do these things. You can take them completely off the motor and clean them, you know, on your bench, or leave it on like I did. And I left it on because I did not want to mess up gaskets or anything like that, especially since I'm not that experienced. And I figure worst case scenario, wouldn't get quite as clean as it would have if I'd taken it off, but a little bit was better than nothing. All right, you guys, well, I got it pretty dang clean. Looks a lot better than it did, as you can see. It's not perfect. It could be better. I probably should clean down in that area a little bit too, so it doesn't come back up into the filter or something and cause more problems. But other than that, I'm pretty pleased with it. Still looks pretty dark down in there. I'm sure that I could sit here and clean and clean and clean all day and probably never get every little speck of grossness off of here. If I had a shop and I could take all this stuff apart, I could probably take it out and soak it. You know, even soak it overnight maybe, or whatever they do. And scrub it out real good, but I've got what I got. But yeah, hopefully that'll at least clean it out enough to where I can breathe. That's basically all I was going for. And hopefully I didn't hurt anything. I don't think I did. And like I said, this is some maintenance that needs to be done to it anyway, irregardless of the outcome. Okay guys, well, hopefully this helped you out a little bit, and as you can see, it turned out a lot better than what I thought it was going to. The throttle body looks pretty clean, doesn't it? But anyway, I just wanted to put this out there. Maybe it'd inspire some of you guys to be able to do some of your own van maintenance and save a little bit of money. But always do your research so that you know when it's time to put down the wrench, because sometimes it's just better to pay somebody to do it. Sometimes, especially for me, I'd rather pay the money instead of having the inconvenience. But when it's something small like this, then I could, you know, tackle it. And the van probably should have a little bit more of a tune-up on it. It should have some spark plugs and spark plug wires changed and things like that. I will hopefully be able to do that eventually, if I'm brave enough. Sometimes spark plugs can get stuck in there and then you're in big trouble, so it's better just to pay a professional sometimes. However, this van is very accessible and I can get to every single spark plug on here, so it's very tempting for me to do it myself. So we'll see. And if it starts running really good after the initial clean out, because it's going to take it a minute to totally clean out the system, then, you know, I might just like let it go for a little bit while longer, so we'll see. But yeah, just like I said before, make sure that if you have an older van, like we all do, because not all of us can afford, you know, a brand new Sprinter or something that's, you know, from, you know, 2020 or whatever. A lot of us are going to be getting these older vans that are in pretty good shape, but they're going to need a lot more maintenance. Just remember, just because something looks like it's brand new doesn't mean it won't need some maintenance, especially if it's older, because that's just the way the old trucks were. Even when they were brand new, they needed more work done to them all the time than our newer cars and trucks. So just keep that in mind, and just make sure to remember, especially if you live on the West Coast and in California in particular, every time you fill up, you need to put some additive in the gas. I made that mistake. Please, guys, learn from my mistakes. I thought that Chevron gas was going to be good enough to keep it clean enough, and it wasn't. So just, yeah, just learn from me, and hopefully you won't have to get down underneath there and clean that thing, because that's just nasty. But if something like that happens and you do, now at least if you've seen this video, you know that it's possible. And if I can do it, a girl by myself, you know, anybody can do it. So hopefully you got something out of this. If you did, please like and subscribe, and check the video descriptions, because I got some stuff going on in there, you know, pretty much all the time. And thank you so much for watching, and have a great day, and happy van maintenance, guys.